Okay, so I'm live streaming on YouTube right now. Everybody, you are on pre-show here with our Chad MKE Now team, turning Ability MKE Now into everything about Chad. We're going to learn so much about Chad. You're going to want to give him a call after the show.
I hope not. That's okay. It's all right.
Well, it's called Come Back for the next episode. Learn more.
Come back. Yes, that's true.
Okay, so all right, we are on YouTube. Hello to our YouTube audience.
Whoop, whoop.
So, but in 2 minutes, it's all about River West Radio.
And actually, and Kurt, until my computer's up, I will rely on you to be able to watch the clock. Do you have the time.gov open so that we can be on time for the start?
Yeah, I will. Here we're recording. We're gonna go ahead and start recording. Welcome to Chad MKE Now with your Ability MKE Now team. This is where we turn Ability MKE Now into being all about Chad. Our guest tonight is gonna be good. We're about 1 minute away from being live on River West Radio, riverwestradio.com. Take a look. Go to the shows tab and find Ability MKE Now and tonight's episode, Chad MKE Now, where Chad may or may not be in Milwaukee. Stories about Chad, whether he's in Milwaukee. Yeah, right.
Grew up here. Been here a long time.
Yeah, the FBI hasn't caught up to him yet, so we're gonna test our luck tonight. Hopefully the FBI is not listening. All right, we are creeping in on, I don't know what happened to my other time.gov thing here, but we are 45 seconds away.
And just FYI, my computer is coming back alive here, so I will be switching over as soon as I can. But yeah, you start. If you want to hand anything over to me anytime, I'm going to mute for the moment while you get started.
Okay, so we're about 15 seconds away, folks. I'm just going to dive right in when I hit the 59-second mark, just to make sure we're not missing a second. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're calling this now Chad MKE Now. It's really Ability MKE Now live on riverwestradio.com. I'm Kurt Roskopf, and I'm pleased to be one of the co-hosts tonight. We have my wife, Sue Roskopf, co-hosting and in the lead here to keep this show moving. And we have our behind-the-scenes engineer, Emily Gulmer from out of Madison. And then we have the star of the show, this episode specially called Chad MKE Now, because it's all about Chad here at Ability MKE Now. So we're going to hear some good stories about Chad, maybe when he's been out doing public speaking, maybe when he's been out, doing some water skiing and all of these things, living the life of a famous person. And we're here maybe making Chad more famous than he already is. What about that? So yeah, we've known Chad for quite a number of years, a couple decades worth. And Chad's been with us when our daughter was born, approaching 13 years ago, and just too much to talk about in this short episode. But we're going to see where Chad takes us on this voyage, this courageous journey of the life of Chad. So Chad, you want to come on in here and give our audience a little bit of a hello and introduction of yourself, and how should we know you, Chad? What do you want your radio mantra to be? How are you identified for our radio audience, Chad?
Thank you for having me today. Kurt, it's always good to be on with you guys. And like you said before, I've worn several different hats. I've done a lot of public speaking. I've done some adaptive water skiing. And I'd first like to get into some of the stories with the adaptive water skiing and some of the things that it's really taught me, if you don't mind. But one of the things that I truly enjoy with the adaptive water skiing with the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club that I had been involved in for quite a number of years, that they really made me feel like I was a part of the team. I did the sound and the music for many summers, and without the sound without the sound element of the ski show, there would be no water ski show, because that is a crucial component to every water ski show. So I started out doing that in about 2008-ish, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kurt. And then a friend in the club at that time told me about adaptive water skiing, and then we had a conversation with the president at the time to really kind of tell me what adaptive water skiing was all about. And at first, I wasn't too keen on that idea, but I said, you know what, I'll give it a try. And I went out to the waterfront festival, and that is a joint venture that the ski club puts on with ACAP of Waukesha, and I had no idea what I was doing at the time. And somebody from the ski club says, "Do you want to go out first?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And so they start. So I get lured into the sit ski, and they start pulling me around the lake, and they neglected to tell me about the pin release that they use when signifying that the ski run is over. So here I am, just going around. This is fun, blah, this is fun. Oh boy, they hit that pin release, and down I go, and I got pretty scared at the moment. But the two side skiers at the time did their jobs perfectly, and they kept me upright. And that was my indoctrination, if you will, to water skiing. And like I said before, they made me feel like I was a member of the team and to be an integral part of the team. And that's what we call inclusion, or persons with disabilities. And I was grateful for the years that I had spent with them. So Sue, I don't know if you have anything else to go into or follow up on.
That was always a fun story. I love that was your first introduction was with Pewaukee Lake, because that's our home team. And I know you've spent a lot of years with the crew there as well. And it was a an interesting piece with all that, that was one of the few times that Kurt and I actually were not there. So we did not get to witness your first time on the water. We actually
Oh
went
yeah,
out of
I
town that
forgot
time.
about that. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I wish we had been there. We've been there for a lot of other ones,
Yes, yes, you have. Yes.
but we
Oh.
missed your inaugural run. Are there any other obviously the first run always stands out the most. Are there any other events or other ski opportunities that you had that stood out in your mind for any particular reason?
Yeah, there's one. That was when my mom passed away, and she's been gone now for 3 years, coming up this November, and still very rough on me to think that she's still gone. But there was one ski run where before they started off, I asked my mom to show me a sign that she was okay. This was recently, this was right after she passed away. And I know, Sue, you were on this run with another member of the club. And as we were going around, there was a pack of seagulls that kept flying right near us all the way throughout the run. And I turned to you and I turned to the other skier, and they asked, well, what's the deal about the seagulls? And I said, well, that's my mom giving me a sign that she is okay. And then it's going to be a story that that'll never forget. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but it was
I remember that one.
quite a special moment.
It was. It's not very often. I mean, once in a while we'll have a couple ducks that are floating around and swimming by when we're skiing, but that day was unique.
No, this was a whole flock of seagulls.
Yeah.
Whole flock of them. Yep.
Yeah, and they did not leave us easily. They actually got kind of close to where we were. That typically the boat goes by and they scatter pretty quickly, but that they didn't exactly. They stuck around so they could get up close and personal. Not that close, but they said they made their presence very well known, and it was a nice that was a nice day. That one sticks out in my mind as well.
And I'm convinced that was my mom saying that she's okay. So that was quite a special run for me.
Well, I got to ask then too, what about skiing at other places? Because I know we got to do some introductions. A lot of people haven't had at that time not seen a lot of adaptive skiing yet, and we did some demos at the Wisconsin state tournament. There's a state water ski tournament that takes place here in Wisconsin. There's also some regional ones elsewhere. And then there's also a national tournament that takes place. And I believe you got to do demos at both the state tournament and the national tournament. Is that right?
Yes, I was fortunate to do demos at both of those events, and those were phenomenal experiences. To not only do it in front of that big of an audience, but to bring awareness to the rest of the water ski community that anything is possible, and you should not let your disability get in the way of anything. I thought that was totally a awesome experiences, and it's led to, as Curtis said on this show many times, it's led to other ski clubs in the state of Wisconsin incorporating adaptive skiing in their ski clubs. So that was a fun couple times, yes.
So yeah, I know you do other sporting, or whether it's sports or other types of activities as well. What other things have you branched off that people have looked at you and said, wait, you did what?
I did flyboarding, and we talked about that on a previous show. That was fun. I've got to swim with some dolphins at SeaWorld, and that was a good time as well. That was a highlight of mine, because I think dolphins are such cool animals and stuff. So, what else have I done? There's not enough time in this show. We're gonna have to make it a couple shows soon. But
You could totally do that. Well, and I should, if you don't mind, those that are not familiar with you that are hearing this, can you tell folks just a little bit more about you and why doing some of these things are, why anybody would look at you and say, you did what? Because can you give a little more introduction on who you are and what is it that ends up being that you are one who skis in a sit ski versus the stand-up skis?
oh yes, I'm sorry, so I should have gone back. But yeah, I have cerebral palsy. I'm a power wheelchair user. I cannot walk. That's why I need to use a sit ski instead of the stand-up ski, because I can't do that due to my disability. And I believe it's about time for the public to start focusing on abilities rather than disabilities. So that's always been my mantra, is to focus on what people can do as opposed to what they cannot. So a little bit of expanded introduction, and then I've also done public speaking all throughout the country as well, and we can get into that a little bit as well.
Because I know you've been in demand over the years as a public speaker. You've done a lot to help a lot of people and have been an inspiration to many. The educational route that you've taken, where you've been a speaker at many different events. What types of topics have you talked to folks about when you've done your speaking engagements?
I've talked to them about, what it is to live with a disability, how I've overcome it, living on my own independently with assistance of caregivers and service dog. I've done that for 20 plus years, I think, around that. I also talk about what the moving out process is, and also how people can get the best services they need and how to advocate for themselves. That's just a little bit of the broad, spectrum.
So I'm assuming you've learned the hard way on some things, I'm sure, along the way. You've experienced a lot and have been in that position of figuring it out. How do I get my own place? What do I do when you're at events, or if you're talking to someone who is looking to do what you've achieved with your independence, what type of advice do you give to folks who are trying to do what you've done?
The one piece of advice I would give them is to make your friends before you need them. Hook up with advocacy groups around the area, like Independence First is a good one. Disability Rights Wisconsin is another good advocacy source here in Wisconsin, that has helped me many, many times. And then to know how your disability affects you, so you can tell people what kind of reasonable accommodations you need. Like, for example, some days I have difficulty talking, so instead of me talking on the phone, I text to get out what I need to get out to my friends, or I send emails. That is a combination that I've learned to tell people, and most of the time they've been really accommodating. And then, but I'm still learning how to navigate the adult system and get adult services, which is very challenging, but
Yeah. Do you have folks that you look to as well then? That 'cause I love how you said that. Make your friends before you need them. That's good advice for all of us.
yes, my dear mom taught me that one. My dear mom taught me that one, and I still use that one to this day. And the other thing I use is control the controllables. Don't worry about any of the outside noise or what people say. Just focus on your life and try to be the best person that you can be for that given day, and try to be happy and bring joy to people's lives.
So with the different things that you do with talking to people, what are some of the challenges that you've encountered? A lot of people how do I say this? I don't want to call people sheltered exactly, but there's a lot of people who don't have the opportunity, or haven't taken the opportunity, haven't reached out, don't have a friend who is in a wheelchair, for example, or has challenges that they don't have. Everybody's got their own challenges, right? But there are some things that are unique and specific, and for example, with you being in a wheelchair, that obviously presents different pieces of life that others don't have. Going out to a restaurant, do they have a ramp? Do they have, there's different pieces like that. What kind of challenges have you come across that a lot of people just don't even think about, that you are looking at on a daily basis, and how you plan your day? What kinds of things, for those that don't have to think about these things, is there any advice maybe that you can even give for others on how they can do things better themselves?
As far as the day-to-day challenges go, I have to make sure that I have a driver to go to the activities that I want to go to. I have to make sure that, as you said, they're wheelchair accessible. They have a ramp. My wheelchair can fit through the doorways. One of my pet peeves is people parking illegally without any tags in disabled spots. That's one of my pet peeves. As well as when I go out to a store, out to dinner, they talk to my caregiver more than they talk to me. That's one of my, and I almost want to tell them I can speak up too, or they talk really loud to me, like I can't hear anything.
That's interesting. So just because you're in a wheelchair doesn't mean you have a hearing issue as well. Well, I guess on the upside, somebody's trying, but even simple things like the types of language that people uses, the type of language people use. So the fact that you do utilize a wheelchair, what is a good way for somebody to refer to somebody who uses a wheelchair?
Okay, the proper term is wheelchair user, and the non-proper term is wheelchair bound. That's one of them. And I want to make sure that we bring in Adam to the conversation because he's here, and I want to make sure that he has an opportunity. So go ahead, Adam.
I'm actually just working in the background.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure if you wanted to add to the conversation that you could do that. That's fine. That's fine.
We always love having our Captain Adam on board here, and we always appreciate everything he does for the show and for all of us. So thank you, Chad, for bringing him in here too. And Kurt, actually, I'll toss the ball back your direction here. Has this spurred any thoughts on your end that you'd like to share at this time?
Well, it's always tremendous reminiscing for sure. And like Chad says, there are numerous stories to share. So I'll be looking forward as well to the next rendition of Chad MKE Now, stories, whether Chad's story is based in Milwaukee or not, we still tell the story. And whether Chad at any given time is in Milwaukee or not, we can't confirm or deny, so Chad's a man of mystery out there. And it's always exciting to be with the man that is Chad. So, can't say enough for what's happened in the sport of water skiing. President of Wisconsin Water Ski Federation, president of Wisconsin Water Ski Federation is Chris Copeland, and Chris Copeland has been very appreciative of everything that Chad has done to share with the thousands of people that the Wisconsin Water Ski Federation represents. And and Wisconsin Water Ski Federation through all this has been full of notoriety with USA Water Ski and Wake Sports and the International Wakeboard and Water Ski Federation. So truth be told, this is a big reveal. Chad is kind of a big deal, in the world of water skiing. Chad's the guy, doing flyboarding and you name it. Right, Chad?
Yeah, I guess, but it wouldn't be possible without all the great volunteers, whether it be from the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club or all the other ski teams, to make adaptive ski possible, to make it safe, and to make it enjoyable. So I wouldn't be where I am today without them. So I have to say that.
I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's one thing that I fail sometimes to acknowledge, that we're so focused on our adaptive participants that it takes a lot of able-bodied folks to come out and be there and participate as well, because we need people in the boat, we need people on shore, we need people as side skiers and in the water and out of the water, and there's a lot of pieces to it, and I want to make sure that is out there as well, that whether no matter your ability, you are able to come and participate in and not just the water skiing aspect. There's Milwaukee area is full of opportunity, whether it's through the ability center, the basketball teams that are out there that are there's a lot of adaptive opportunities that if you just look, you'll be able to find. At one time there was an abilities expo, not abilities expo. It was, Kurt, help me out with the name. They had an expo that the medical college was involved in. What was it again?
Everybody Plays, adaptive
there
sports.
We go. Thank you. Everybody plays. That's exactly the concept. Everybody plays. Get everybody involved, no matter your ability. And Chad, as somebody who is a wheelchair user, what is that? When you first encountered that, what is that? Has that done for you personally?
I'm gonna have to make this a quick answer. Maybe we can spend some more time on this, but the quick answer is it has done so much for me to enrich my life and to, I hope I've touched all of the volunteers that have helped with the Pewaukee Lake Water Ski Club to do the adaptive skiing, because they've touched me in a positive way. And I guess that's all I can say for now, because we're running short on time.
Yeah, it's all good. I know with again, our personal experiences have mostly been in the water ski world, and we've been lucky enough to meet some amazing people with huge hearts, and the amount of time that people have spent and with what has been created across the state for people to be able to come and make it more local. It used to be that there were only just a handful of places where opportunities like this existed, and the fact that it now is widespread across the state and beyond. We did bring up in last week's episode that we were lucky enough to have a huge gathering down in Florida earlier, just about a month ago, where they had a Guinness World Record attempt, and we're still waiting on, I have not heard the official word yet if they are going to receive the Guinness record on this, but they did have 15 sets of adaptive skiers. So it's a skier and 2 side skiers. They had 15 behind one boat. If you can imagine what that looked like, that many people out there doing this, we're all very blessed to be part of these activities. And with doing Ability MKE now, we love what we do here. We look for more stories and invite folks to listen in and participate with us in the future as well with Ability MKE now on River West Radio. And we thank you all for all you do.
All right, well,
Awesome, guys.